Jehovah's Witnesses in New Zealand have been told to destroy documents, and child sex abuse survivors fear that it will cover up crimes. The Survivor Network's given the Royal Commission of Inquiry into Abuse copies of the church edicts and is urging it to step in. Phil Pennington reports.
The recorded cases of historic child sex abuse in Jehovah's Witnesses overseas suggest there could be several hundred in this country. The Australian inquiry into child sex abuse found 7 serious flaws in how the church handled cases across the Tasman. Numerous documents now obtained by RNZ show the church since 2015 has encouraged all sorts of documents and minutes to be destroyed. Here's an excerpt from recent instructions to Australasian congregations.
When the matter has been finalised, all written records from both the original and appeal committees should be destroyed. In any case, if it is determined that some brief personal notes need to be taken during a hearing, they should be destroyed once a summation of the hearing has been prepared.
The New Zealand church numbers 14,000 and takes its steer from its world headquarters in the US. A video of its records manager telling elders everywhere to destroy documents was leaked last year to the Philadelphia Inquirer newspaper. The manager refers to judicial authorities as the devil, Satan.
Well, we know that the scene of this world is changing, and we know Satan's coming after us, and he's going to go for us legally. We can see by the way things are shaping up. So the organization has said we've run into difficulties in the past because of the records we have.
This follows a proliferation of lawsuits against the church. Shane Meechan from the New Zealand Survivor Network, who spent years in the Jehovah's Witnesses, is in no doubt that child sex abuse records are in jeopardy.
Because there's already evidence that destruction of those documents have happened. They are no longer complete. They go to court and try and seal up all records.
The church's Australasian headquarters declined an interview, and in a statement it says,
In answer to your key question, does this order include documents relevant to child sex abuse in the church? The letter you reference does not give any direction to destroy documents relevant to child sexual abuse.
However, the church's written instructions to destroy documents that RNZ has seen do not specifically exclude those relating to abuse. Nevertheless, the church insists that elders have been told not to destroy such documents. Shane Meechan says the church documents he's delivered were an eye-opener to the Royal Commission of Inquiry into Abuse. The Commission says it's a criminal offence to destroy evidence, and that since being alerted by Mr Meechan, it's contacted the Australasian Jehovah's Witnesses Church to remind it of its obligations. In a statement, the Commission says it's been assured by the church it won't destroy any documents.
Where appropriate, the Royal Commission will require institutions to verify by statutory declaration that they have not destroyed or disposed of any such material, and to provide an explanation for any material that has been lost or destroyed.
RNZ has also obtained other new church edicts that show that leaders are now allowing believers to go to police with child sex abuse allegations, and also telling elders to be more open with congregations about such allegations and about perpetrators. Shane Meechan says that's an improvement, but will run up against a church culture of secrecy and distrust.
They view this world as being controlled by Satan the devil, and they try and stay away from the authorities and keep it in-house.
The Australian inquiry into child sex abuse said church records showed there were 1,800 likely victims and 1,000 accused perpetrators within the Jehovah's Witnesses since the 1950s. It found no evidence the church had reported a single case to the police. For Morning Report, Phil Pennington.
Call for survivor evidence as Royal Commission faith investigation expanded. Methodist, Presbyterian, Salvation Army, Glory of God, Exclusive Brethren and Jehovah's Witnesses added to scope. Release date, the 11th of April 2022. The Abuse in Care Royal Commission of Inquiry is formally extending the scope of its Anglican investigation to include the Methodist, Presbyterian and Salvation Army faiths. Now known as the Protestant and Other Faiths Investigation, it will also be seeking evidence from survivors of abuse in 3 closed community faiths: Glory of God, Exclusive Brethren, more recently known as Plymouth Brethren Christian Church, and Jehovah's Witnesses. Since the Royal Commission started, we have been gathering evidence of abuse in the care of these faiths as part of our inquiry. The scope is being formally extended to recognise increased numbers of survivors from these faiths, and their institutions, including schools and care homes, who have disclosed abuse to the Royal Commission. We continue to ask survivors to come forward. Further evidence gathered will add to our existing evidence base and understanding of abuse in these faiths, and findings about them will be included in the Royal Commission's interim faith report. The Anglican, Methodist, Presbyterian, and Salvation Army faiths engaged in care provision throughout the Royal Commission's 1950 to 1999 period of inquiry. The inclusion of the three closed community groups, while not overly large congregations, will mean that the Royal Commission could learn from more survivors of abuse while in care of these groups, and examine abuse in faith contexts that are usually closed to the wider community. The Royal Commission is exploring how people in care were abused by the institutions meant to protect them. This included physical, sexual, psychological, and racist abuse. Maori, Pacific people, deaf and disabled and LGBTQIA+ were disproportionately affected by care systems that failed them. Survivors of these faiths can be reassured the Royal Commission can hear from them in different ways, through face-to-face dialogue, their written accounts of abuse, through hui and phono, as well as research of already disclosed abuse. Public hearings are only a small part of the Royal Commission's inquiry, and dedicated individual public hearings will not be held for these faiths. Instead, the Royal Commission wants to continue hearing evidence privately from any survivors or witnesses of abuse in these faiths who come forward. We will call on representatives of these faiths to provide evidence as we continue our work through 2022. Survivors of abuse in other faiths, while not specifically referenced in the scope document, are also encouraged to come forward to the Royal Commission. Survivors who want to share about abuse by any of these faiths are encouraged to call us confidentially on 0800 222 727, or register on our website, and we will phone you. The Protestant and other faiths investigation will be reported on in the Royal Commission's Faith Interim Report, to be presented to the Governor-General before June 2023. Royal Commission's new Protestant and other faiths scope document.